All right. So store number 2. Let's roll into that sucker because I think you were starting to say that
Yeah.
you were getting ready to put this puppy up last time we talked. So
Yeah.
let's jump into
Yeah. And
that.
it's been a completely different experience.
How so?
So when we opened store one, immediately day one, people started rolling in, and I think I even talked about it on the last podcast. We were cash flow positive after month one there. Not the same experience here. And I don't think most people have that experience. And I think I mentioned that, but I didn't expect it to be that way. So my expectations were not near as high as they were after going through store number one. So it was a bit of a struggle at that store to really get to a point to where we were seeing regular traffic. And there's a few reasons for that. And a couple that honestly were mistakes that I made. Number one, and this is something I still have to work on because the sign is still there because it cost a lot of money. I have not replaced my sign. But and when I do, I'll have a professional, create it for me to ensure that it's very readable from a distance. Because as you look at my sign from, say, the intersection that's near our store, you really can't read it. And that doesn't help you at all. And then right beside me, there's like an insurance agency or something, and their sign, I can read their sign from the intersection, so I know if I'm looking for it, I can see it. But I think one thing I definitely need to do there, as far as reinvesting in the business, is look at doing a new exterior sign and have the design redone so that it's very readable from a distance away. It looks great. It lights up at nighttime. You can actually read it better at night, but it just really didn't stand out. And then also, Google had our address wrong at the very beginning. And it was something I didn't catch. So if you were Googling us, it would have you going down to the far opposite end of the strip center, which is a pretty long strip center. So that was something I had to work really hard to get the pin set exactly on our address. And so I was constantly having people call me and says, I see you on Google, but I can't find you. Where are you? And then I would have customers come in and say, after I've been open for 6 months, I drive right past here. I didn't know you were here. Oh my gosh, it's the worst thing I want to hear.
Mm.
So from a marketing perspective, lesson learned, it's got to be a really strong, really good signage up front, and your Google marketing has to be on point with address, with, everything that you possibly can do to make sure people know about you. And, I think one thing I've learned since then too is because I did have to, honestly, I just had to work harder at this store to get it up and running like it is now than I did at the first one. So it was almost like learning for the first time. But I got involved in Facebook groups. There's local Facebook groups for the community that I'll go and post different things on about our specials that we're doing, or about amenities within our store, to make sure people know about it. We've done a few free laundry days there, and so I always put those in there to make sure people know about it. But again, it's not as highly populated of an area as the first store, but it's also more in the middle of a commercial area, which is a little different as well. So it's a different marketing approach when you're in that scenario. So going back to my own advice that we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, know where your people are going to go on a day-to-day basis and how you can approach them, and how you can make sure you get on their radar. So anyway, lots of lessons learned through this one. And I think now, as we go into number 3, I think number 3 is going to be closer to my second store as far as experience wise. So that's what I'm preparing for. So when we open the doors there, it's going to be, a completely different animal, if you will.
Yeah.